Hi guys, it's Kim.
And I'm Lola, and welcome back to Turn the Page, the podcast where two sisters catch up over books, reviews, and all the juicy bits in between.
What's the plan for today, Lola?
So today we will have pick and mix, and then we'll have short read receipts, and then we will have the characters, and then this book is a bit of a chonker, so
Hmm.
this is definitely going to be a three part, and
Yep.
the book was split into three parts, so we will follow that format. So plot points part one, and that will end it off today.
Okie dokie. And the book that we're actually talking about is The Will of the Many by James Islington. So if you are, and we always say this, if you're a first-time listener, please note you don't have to read the book or even be a reader to enjoy our catch-ups. You could just enjoy the ride. And a reminder about how to find us.
On YouTube at turn.the.page.podcast, and there should be a link in the episode so you can find us.
And remember, we are on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Instagram at turnthepage.pod. And like Lola says, we are now on YouTube. So make sure you follow us on all platforms, subscribe, share, like all the good things.
Let's get into it. Pick a mix time.
Cover judgment, where you write. So do you pick up a book just because of the cover, or have you kept a book just because of the cover?
No.
No, I asked you two questions, bro.
I mean, uh, just because have I picked up a book, like physically picked
Mm,
up or bought a book? Because
bought,
I no, I've
picked
never
up.
I've I've picked up a book because of the cover, yeah. But
Mm,
I've no, there's no way I would buy a book by the cover, considering that
mm.
there's so many different covers for one book.
True. Yeah, right. Especially because of that. Because I didn't actually think about that until we started doing this. Because even this book, this Will of the Many, there are actually
Yeah,
so many different covers for it. And I'm
yeah.
annoyed about the cover that I got.
I really because I saw someone else in the reviews was like, she bought the book quickly just because the cover was changing, and it has a lot of good reviews. So that person would, that person is very on brand for this topic.
I did. That's so intense because I've never really
Yeah.
thought about it. I'm just like, yeah, because you're gonna read the book anyways. And to be fair, there's been some books that I've not really liked the cover, but I just read it. It is what
Like
it is.
that book, I can't remember. There was one book that I thought was all happy and fun, and it wasn't until I read the book. Like the cover gives a happy vibe, but it wasn't
Mm,
until I read the book that I was like, "Oh, this is flames."
mm.
It's multicolored flames on the cover. But no, because it's not it wasn't the color of fire, but until I had the context of the tragedy in the book.
Mm, it's a case of like what you're actually reading, then it gives more background to the actual book cover.
And some covers are like the aesthetic of the was it the printing press or what? Yeah,
Or the publisher, it's
publishers.
not
That's
actually the author.
yeah. Like they use the
Yeah.
certain fonts or because I read Discworld Terry Pratchett books, and you can get I think the original version is the pocket size version. I'll show it
Mhm.
to you, but it's tiny so it can fit into your pocket. And then there's another version, and I guess it's like Harry Potter actually. So if you haven't read Terry Pratchett, read it because it's like a whirlwind. But like Harry Potter had a adult version cover, so for the series, so that
Mm,
adults didn't have to look silly. Terry
yeah,
Pratchett has like a whimsical version, and then it
yeah,
has
I
a
remember that.
classic version, and it has a pocket-sized version. But at
Mm,
least all of that those are functionable different covers. Like, but the ones where it's just different covers for no reason, it's not even a special edition. I don't really get those. Like, why is there so many
mm.
versions of? Yeah, I think it's a marketing
That's
thing.
it's definitely a marketing thing. It's so that you can. It probably
Yeah.
also is like if people aren't like keen on a cover, they're like, oh, if we jazz it up, are they going to be interested in this cover kind of thing? Because I'm just like, what do you need multiple covers for? Because even,
In
for example, the Will of the Many, the different covers for this one, the main difference is this is orange,
Oh,
the
yours is.
cup, the
Oh, yeah, that's the one I have. Sorry, I don't know what I
and
was
then
thinking.
the one that I saw that I was just like, oh, I would have liked that one is navy blue.
Yeah, I was because I was thinking of the strength of the few. That's why. Yeah, no, yeah, I wanted the navy blue one. Basically, the inverse
Ah,
of this,
I
isn't
could
it?
show you my strength of the few because I'm using it to prop up my mic. This is my strength.
That's
Bloody heck, this book is a
conker.
chunker.
Yeah, you can knock someone out with it.
It's a chunker. At the moment, they've only got the hardback, I believe. So, and I
Yeah,
was just like, oh, gosh, so I have to pay for the
attempted M
hardback.
charge.
But
Yeah, no,
yes.
to be honest, actually, saying all of that in the self-published world or the indie author world, the cover is very important. Or like if you're buying a collector's, people do buy the same
Mm,
book and just to have every version of the thing or just to have the new cover and they get excited, especially in the fantasy world. The cover is actually very important. And
okay.
it's not, it doesn't have to be like whimsical. It's just they will care about the font on the cover. Like it does in the indie world, it does seem to be very important. I'm more
And I
about what's
guess
inside.
I guess we are human beings as a general. We are collectors at heart, so I can see why that would be a thing to kind of push as well. Is like having different ones, and you're just like, oh, like a bit of what's that phrase?
Not for all
Fear
my
of missing
books.
out on stuff.
Yeah,
Mm.
only on my favorite books. Like so I have a book, my
Also, do
bookcase,
you have
there's
books
a
that have different covers?
yeah, yeah. Like
Ah,
so Jane, yeah, I want to say I have two. I have like a collector's, I have a fancy version and then I have the
mm.
Penguin Classics. And like I have
Ah.
a so if I really like it, I'll get a nice fancy version of it. But then my bookcase, I have the display one, and then I have the one that can hide the books I'm not too crazy about, or it's just any rough books. So the display one, yeah, I'll care about the spine and what that looks like and
Mm.
having a set and stuff like if it's a set. But or if it's a collector's edition, like cloth bound books as well. I really like
Hmm.
cloth. I'm getting into those as well. So yeah, I do like a pretty bookshelf, but I'm not there yet to be frivolous with money. I'd rather just have a lot of books because
It's true.
I'm
Not
only
just a lot of
physical.
the same book.
Yeah,
Mm, mm,
yeah,
mm,
because I only read physical books. So if I was to get into the Kindle and save my money there and do what you do and test them out on the Kindle and then buy the physical,
mm.
yeah.
Because I think that's also the difference is because I also do audiobooks. So at that point, the cover
And
doesn't mean nothing to me, really.
really?
It's
So doesn't that
yeah.
draw you, or are you going to Audible or wherever you go because of a book you already have? You just want to get it on the go. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
It's
So
not
that's
you're not
basically
going
all
there
it is.
looking for books. Yeah,
No, 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 no. I would have a book in mind, then I'll go to because I'll be like, oh, let's listen to it.
a
And to be
different
fair,
methods.
it's just a different method to get the book into my brain.
Like
So
same for your
yeah.
Kindle.
Kindle, I'm not actually using as much anymore. I'm quite enjoying
Hmm.
having the book. I'm doing
Mm.
more audiobook or the book.
Mm. So if you were sitting down, you wouldn't pick up your Kindle. You would pick up the
No,
physical. Mm.
yeah,
And
no,
why is
yeah.
that? Very interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. Because sometimes books are a bit cumbersome, especially like if you're in a cramped space, but I do prefer it. I do
Yeah.
actually. I even have a nightlight. I didn't used to have a nightlight, but now I have a nightlight so that I can read books in bed.
I thought it was because you were missing like on all of the nuances, like the covers and all of those extra pages in the beginning,
And the
and then
text as well.
yeah,
And yeah, there's
yeah.
it's all those little things and the smell. People say the smell of a
The
new book
smell, yes, I love
and
a
like
smell
the
of an
turning
old
of the
book. I love the smell
pages.
of an old book, not a new book. I mean, I love the
I,
smell of a new
I said
book.
the phrase wrong, but yeah, it's just even the text and the way the text is like it's different.
Yeah,
But
it
yeah,
makes a difference. Yeah,
it does, it
yeah.
does. I found yeah, since been read getting back into reading, I've preferred it's either audiobook for me so that I can listen on the go or reading it in my hand like the book.
Do audiobooks have album covers?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so actually for Will of the Many, I think the album cover is actually even different on Audible. There's some
Oh, let me
different,
see.
yeah. Let me see if I can get it up for you. Nah, tell a lie. It's actually the blue one.
Well, at
Yeah,
least
it's the blue
you got it there.
one. I got it there. But to
They
be
it's
fair,
like
all
they
it is a navy
it's
version of the
the
orange. That's all
inverse.
it
Yeah,
is.
the
Yeah,
inverse. And it's
that's
like
all it
because
is.
blue and orange are complementary colors. And it's
Mm,
like they knew that people prefer the blue one.
mm. And that's why they put
Oh,
it there.
yeah.
It's fine. We've got the orange one. It's okay. It's okay. But yeah, so, but yeah, I don't. I like you said, a cover wouldn't, especially because you have to pay for it. A cover wouldn't make me pick up a book and be like, I love this book so much because of the cover. I'm going to take this home. What if the book is about something random?
Mm.
So no, yeah, I think
A
that's
wild
a,
judgment.
yeah, that's you need to think about life if you're doing that, boy.
But
Or
there
maybe you have the
are
money for it.
because a lot of people aren't collecting books to read.
It's just a have.
Hmm.
To be fair,
Not a
actually,
lot,
yes, there's
not a lot.
actually no, you'd be surprised. There actually are a lot of people that do have like a not designer, like aesthetic books. Like they will
Mm,
have just like on their coffee table or on the
mm.
side or
Because
like
it
you said
looks
in
nice,
your
yeah.
bookshelf because it looks nice. They haven't read it, they've not looked at it, they don't even know what's in the book, but it's just because it looks nice. So there it is a thing. Alrighty. So what do you guys think? Are you guys people that will pick up a book because of the cover? Would you buy a book because of the cover? If you do, I'm concerned about your finances. Or maybe you have so much money that we shouldn't be
Might as
concerned at
well.
all.
Yeah.
Exactly. Do what it do. Do what it do. All right. Now let's move on.
Short read receipts. Why did you just stop like that?
Perfect. Because I didn't know what was next.
Oh,
Because you're the one that wrote shit down, so I didn't know what was next.
oh, oh.
So I was waiting for you.
Yeah, you literally just
You just
froze.
aired me, boy. Read receipts. So I'm doing the 1 star rating, and Lola's gonna do the 5 star rating. Do you want to go first, or should I do mine first?
Oh, nice and sweet. Holy shit. Muscle, 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 muscle by
Is that your
Jordan.
five? Is that your 5 star rating? Just
That's my
holy
five star
shit.
rating. That's my 5 star rating. And then it's got so many responses. People like life changing, one might say. Yeah, I know that's right.
Huh?
Agreed.
Wow.
This is the
Didn't have
sign
to
I
say
needed
much.
to move it up.
Wow.
Literally,
Okay.
because you don't have to say much.
Wow.
People
Okay.
agree with this. 393 likes.
Wow. Okay. All right.
Mm.
Well, my 1 star rating is much longer, but it's not long, long. So this is by Rebecca. She did it 15th of August 2024. That was quite soon after this book was released, wasn't it? Every dude who wants to write an epic saga about a lowly orphan with a secret past who goes on a quest to discover the truth and then hijinks ensue should be limited to a maximum of 400 pages. Any more than that is just gas baggery. I love that word. Also, beware of books with a majority of glowing, weeping emoji, exclamation point filled 5 star reviews. She said in shots at your reviewer, boy. She said in shots at your reviewer. Their sound and fury signifying nothing. 87 people liked her comment.
Well, she's the minority.
I need to do this one more. She says, I don't know, man. I don't trust books that start with the main character fighting a gladiator match naked. Too much glaze with nothing to show for it. Bummer.
It was so random. I was like, wait, what?
What?
And
He
we haven't
did it
seen,
again.
yeah, we haven't seen that kind of that flair of that crazy Bronson flair.
Did it do it again. I was just like, okay. But nah, I saw that and I was like, I had to. She said that in June, June 2025. And she had 6 likes from that one.
That scene clearly reminded me. He was clearly inspired by Bronson.
Yeah, because I was just like, oh, okay, where does this come from? Especially because, like we said, it doesn't happen ever again. So
You don't see him like that wild ever again.
it was very random, very
He's
very
always
random,
calculated. Yeah.
very random. The characters.
I'll be going through in alphabetical order. It doesn't mean anything. Kim will break stuff down. So, the luckily in this chunk of a book, not only does he list the major characters, he also lists the key locations, and he has a
Mm,
glossary,
yeah.
and he has the names phonetically spelled out, which is very helpful. So we
Yes.
love that. I'm just going to touch on some of the main characters that I think you need some more background on. It's not all of the main characters, and Kim will touch on the rest. So we have Equa, Claudius, who is class 4 student academy, daughter of one of the senators, and she attends the Nomacha. How are you pronouncing that?
Now Makia.
Namakia, okay, we'll do that. She attends the Namakia with Vis. We're always doing these things. She is one of the top players, I would say. Then we also have Atrox, who's the matron, and she's in charge of the orphanage where we first meet our main characters at Lettons. We also have, so the majority of these characters are teenagers, by the way. So part of the teenagers, we have Belly, Bolenis, who is class 3 student at the academy. She's known for her Parasat Foundation, which is what I thought of as a game of like chess, and also good at running the labyrinth. So think of the Labyrinth, that 90s movie Labyrinth. Don't think of something fun, think of something scary. Uh, we have Cyril Telemus, who is the brother to Orkisco. Orkisco is one of the main characters. I'll get into that later. But Cyril was killed during. Actually, is that capital I? That's a capital I.
No, it's a Eudicium.
Eutychium, yes, capital
Yes, Eudicium. Yeah.
at the academy several years ago. Crazy. Good luck to us, guys. And and then we have Calidus, who is class 7 student at the academy where our main character gets quite close to, and we'll see more about his background and his plot points in the story later on. So also at the academy we have Ada. Oh, Aiden Brack. Sorry, I should know how to say his name because I love
Mm.
him and I love the bromance between him and the main character. I should stop spoiling. So that's that. And then also at the academy, we have Amisa. She is a class 3 student at the academy and soft love interest for our main character. We have Indol. Indol is also a class 3 student. He's a son of someone very high up in the military. Then we have Lenistia. She is the tutor to our main character during his time under the Telimus family, which is where Okispo comes from. She is assisting Okispo in his search to find out the truth about Cyril's death. After Lanicia, we have Relikia.
Mhm.
Even I bragged about the phonetically spelled.
She's actually reading it because she's actually reading it from the book and she's still not able to say these names.
Gosh, it's just coming out of the mouth. It's
Mm.
yeah, okay. Well, that's something someone says. Anyway, Relikia is Okisco's wife. That's what I'm gonna say. And then we have Sido Chia, and that's the name given by an Angius agent who arranges the attack on the main characters. I'm gonna say transvex, but just think air transportation to the
Mhm.
academy. Angus is the rebel army. Think of that. So context. Nearly there, guys. And so last but not, well, penultimately we have Okisco, who I've been saying. So Okisco Telemus is a senator who meets our main character at Letton's prison and ultimately offers him the chance to attend the Catenan Academy. And then we have Viridius. Viridius is our protagonist. Sorry, antagonist. Wow. He is the principalist and he's in charge of the academy. And then I haven't said the main character's name, and that is for a reason. So I will leave that to Kim.
Plot point. Let's get into it. So this book is part of a trilogy of books, and this is obviously book one. Book two is out, which is great. Book three hasn't been written yet. So, that's why we're going to leave a nice gap between this book and then the second book, because we don't want to be waiting for ages for the next one. Anywho, this book is set in a world that is inspired by the Roman Empire. So we use Roman numerals for the chapters. The names sound very Roman-like. All the places are very Roman-like. So he's really heavily leaned into the Roman Empire. And this book is split into three parts, like Lola said earlier. So that's how we're going to split out episodes. So at least for the first time, I think, since we've been recording, we know this is going to definitely be a three-part. And we follow our main guy, Viz, who is a 17-year-old boy who works in a Catenan prison with an old guy called Rolf. So they're guards or caretakers. I want to say maybe guards. I don't know what their role is in the prison, but they work in this prison. And one evening, a guy comes to the prison with official permission from the Senate to speak to a prisoner. So both Viz and Rolf are a bit dubious, but the guy's got permission. He's a higher rank than them. So what are we going to do about it? So Rolf is more senior than Viz in this job, and he should be the one to take the guy to see the prisoner. But he's an old man who probably should be retiring. And in this republic, in this place, weakness usually means you go to something called the Sapper, which I'll talk about in a minute. Him being seen as weak is a threat. So instead, Viz takes over by saying, Rolf is injured, he's hurt his knee, let me be the one to take you to the guy, to the prisoner who's actually connected to the Sapper. So I'm going to pause there. what is the sapper? So in this world, everyone has will or a person's driving force. The powers that be have made it that this is a shared thing between people in a very strict hierarchy, almost like an MLM or a pyramid style way. So whoever's at the top of the pyramid or the triangle will have many people under them giving or seeding will is what they say is what they're doing. And this means that those at the top are very powerful. So having this amount of will means that it comes out in these abilities like superhuman strength. They're able to imbue things. They, like I said, they're usually really strong. And the ranks have names, with the bottom being called the octavus, or octavi is the multiple of them, followed by septimus, sextus, quintus, quartus, etc., till you get to princeps. So if you know your numbers, you'll know how we go up. So the sapper is what they use to drain people of their will. It kind of leaves them in this slightly undead state. And it's used in prisons. It's usually like a threat you would say to people, like, I'm going to send you to the sapper. So at this point, we're in a prison where you've got people connected to the sapper and their wills are being given to the people in the hierarchy. Alrighty, back to the summary. So Viz has taken this mystery guy to the prisoner, and he's questioning him in a strange language that Viz shouldn't actually understand, but he does. Because, you know, good old Viz is like an onion with loads of layers. And he's clocking onto something. He's just like, something's not right in this conversation. So the guy's asking questions about things like the cataclysm and about someone called Zero. And the poor guy on the sapper has been there for 5 years, and he's just like, are you here to save me? And this mystery guy is kind of like, yeah, but let me get my questions. Let me get my questions in first. So you can tell that the guy's just like, you're not here to save me. So I'm gonna try to get out of this where I can. So he starts to struggle, and because for him to answer the questions, he was disconnected from the sapper by Viz, and so he starts to regain his will back. So he starts to struggle, and he's trying to get away, and this leads to Viz being knocked onto the sapper. But strangely, Viz isn't affected when he gets connected to the sapper. So that happens. We are able to get the guy back into the sapper. Everything's sorted. We take the guy back up, and everybody's kind of acting like,
Sorry, I was
go
just
on.
pausing on that because he was affected. It's just he felt weird because he felt the sensation, and Okisko uses that threat that he's going to send him to the sapper. So he must feel something. Because
But
remember,
it's because the thing is because he hasn't seeded
yeah, I think he felt
before.
something strange, which Okisko noticed, but I don't think he
Mm,
didn't feel the whatever. I think he maybe, yeah, maybe he didn't feel whatever that guy felt, but he felt
mm,
something.
Yeah, because I did think that. I was like, why do you keep being worried about being sent to the sapper if the sapper didn't affect you? Yeah, that's a valid point, actually. Yeah. So we've gone back upstairs. Everybody's acting like everything's normal. The guy goes, and we follow Viz after work. So we follow him, and he fights in an underground fighting ring at night for money and possibly training or to get his anger off. I don't know. And when he gets to the ring, he's told by the owner, somebody called Eleanor, that he'll be fighting a Sextus. So remember the pyramid. You've got Octavus, Septimus, and Sextus. So this guy is strong, and taken into consideration something with Viz. Viz has refused to receive or seed will. So you would consider him to be, I guess, a normal human. But I don't know, Lola. Would you consider him to be stronger than Octavius because he hasn't seeded
Yeah, because he's not given any of his power
anybody?
away. Yeah.
Mm. Something to bear in mind. So Viz has been fighting in this ring for a while. So even though the Sexus is stronger than Viz, theoretically, Viz has some ways to fight. So he decided to fight butt naked, like that review said, and greased up. To be fair, it does make sense because he actually says the reason he greased himself up is so that he doesn't get caught
Yeah,
by the
so he can't
Sextus
get grabbed.
who,
Yeah.
yeah, who would, if he does catch him, will mash him up. He's actually saying that if he actually gets his hand on me, he will break bones. So he does do this to win this fight. So you can
It's the
see that
same, it's the same
he's
reason why.
strategic.
Yeah, it's the same reason why. Well, I didn't get strategic from that. I got wild. Like, okay, that wouldn't be my first go-to to think of, but it's the same reason why Bronson did it in the docu film.
Mm,
Um, it's so that because he was outnumbered.
Yeah,
So he
because this
got
guy's stronger than
naked
him.
and slapped him up so that because they were in a cramped space, he was outnumbered. So I think, yeah, maybe in terms of fighting sense, give
Mm.
them less to work with.
Yeah, give them less to grab. Yeah, it's the same
Mm,
way like when girls fight, you take off your earrings and your wig so that you
mm.
can't rip that shit off me. It's smart. So, so he's prepared for this fight. And to be fair, he actually won the fight because he loses it when the sexer starts to taunt him and take the piss out of some of the scars on Viz's back. I think he says something about where he came off, maybe his family, but he basically taunts him. Viz gets this strength from somewhere and he basically mashes this guy up. So even though Viz won, it shouldn't actually be possible for him to win. And it does make the hierarchy look bad. So Eleanor claims that he cheated. And this means that Viz doesn't get his winnings because obviously people would have been betting against him to win. He's claimed to be a cheater and now can't fight in the ring again. Poor guy. So he heads back to the orphanage. And bear in mind, this is where he got his scars because he refuses to see his will. So Lola talked about a matron called Atrox. So she's the matron of this orphanage, and I think she's a sextus, I believe. So she's abusive. So she beats him up, um, because he won't cede his will. He won't give his will because all the kids in the orphanage are already starting to cede the will to the hierarchy. And she also takes his money from him. She makes him work, so she takes his money from him. So that's another thing. So he always tries to like sneak some money away because he wants to get away. This poor guy. So the next day, a Quintus rocks up. So remember the hierarchy. You've got Octavius, Septimus, Sextus, Quintus. So the next day, a Quintus rocks up to adopt an orphan. Turns out this Quintus is a guy that came to the prison the day before, the mystery guy, and his name is Telimus. Ulkiscor's a military senator. And I just want to pause here where I just quickly talk about the Catenan Republic. So the Catenan Republic is ruled by three pyramids. You've got military, governance, and religion. Ulkiscor is part of the military um, pyramid. Back to the story. So Ulkiscor wants to infiltrate the Catenan Academy, which is a fancy school, like a lot of other setups and books like this, that is run by religion. He says that he believes religion are planning something, as the island where the school is has some pre-cataclysm ruins. He thinks that the principalis or the principal or head teacher has found some sort of weapon. And the principalis' name, like Lola had told us when she went through the characters, if you remember, is somebody called Viridius. He doesn't trust Viridius. So this is the reason why he needs Viz to get into the school and also like be his spy and find out what's going on in school. So he checks how smart Viz is and he finds that, Viz knows multiple languages because obviously he also clocked that Viz understood what he was saying when he was talking to the prisoner in the Sapper. He also knows that Viz hasn't ceded because of this whole Sapper situation that happened in the prison. So Orkisco says that Viz has to attend the academy as his adopted son and uncover the truth. And if he succeeds, he'll graduate and have a high ranking position. But Viz is like, look, I'm happy to accept because he's like, when I graduate, I just want to escape the Republic. So they head to the academy on something called a transvex, which is basically like some big transport thing that hovers, kind of like a train in the air. I don't know. In my head, it was really hard to visualize what this was, but it is something that flies or hovers.
And like a spaceship kind of thing,
Mm.
hovering, yeah, but traveling very fast. For some reason, it's vertical in my head, even though that makes no sense in
Same.
aerodynamics.
In my head, it's kind of like a
A rocket ship.
gem, like a long gem in my head. That's what it is.
Mm. Mine's like a bullet, yeah.
Yeah, it was very strange how he described or gave a lack of description. You're just like, oh, this transvex. So they head to the academy of something called a transvex, but this is attacked, meaning that Viz and Ulkis will have to jump out of the transvex whilst it's going into a forest. They land in a forest, thankfully, so they are semi-okay. Ulkisco gets shot by an arrow and collapses, which is strange because he's a Quintus. So he shouldn't be affected by a normal arrow. That's something to bear in mind. Smartly, Viz actually protects Ulkisco from the attackers that have basically ambushed the transvex. Because when I was thinking about it, I was just like, look, if I was Viz, I would have probably just run away. But I guess in his head, it's like, where am I supposed to go to? Like, I'm in the middle of nowhere. So this is where we get introduced to the resistant group called the Anguis. And even though both Viz and Anguis hate the Republic, Viz doesn't respect them as they do go too far. So he's seen situations where they've gone to places and basically just murdered a bunch of people. So Viz fights, he's able to hold his own, although he does get stabbed. And a woman appears out of the forest and she's called Sedocia. She calls Viz his real name, which is Diago, and explains that she had attacked the Transvect to capture Viz to get him on side as she wants him to attend the academy, but for their own reason. So poor Viz is just being pulled from pillar to post. You've got Olkisko that wants him to go, and Sedocia that wants him to go to the academy. So she's playing on the fact that she believes that he will want revenge because of the fact that he is from a country that was taken over by the Catenan Republic. But he isn't. He's not about doing it the Anguis way. So he's like, nah, I don't really want to do this. But she's just like, you will have to, and I'm gonna give you a month to figure yourself out. So she knows that he's planning to head to Okisuko's place and that he'll be training and then he'll be going to a festival in a month. So she's like, this will be a great time to catch up at that festival. You'll let me know your answer, basically saying your answer is going to be yes. And she threatens him by saying if he doesn't come to the festival, she'll reveal his identity, meaning that he will be executed or sent to the Sapper. Because Viz's identity is he's a prince of a country called Seuss. And like I said, Seuss had been taken over by the Republic and all of his family had been killed. So he should have been killed alongside his family. So this woman, Stocia, leaves him. Viz helps Olkisko back onto the Transvect. He's able to find an emergency lever, which powers the machine, and then poor Viz passes out. All right, Lola. So, what are your thoughts?
Oh yeah, there was a lot going on here. So in the beginning, it starts off, I think it starts off with a quote, but there's this bit like courage, he whispers. He pours heartbreak and hope into the words. And I was like, oh, that's a nice opening paragraph. And it starts off with Viz playing a game of chess, which
Mm.
as we go on is quite well, chess in whatever parentheses or whatever. But yeah, air quotes or whatever.
Oh,
But
the
yeah,
Foundation game.
foundation, that's the word.
Mm.
But yeah, because obviously Viz is very strategic. So I thought that was quite a good introduction to Viz, is
Mm.
him playing this game. And then like the arc with the Quintus or Keyscore and the pit fighting and the old man at the prison or the Sapper and helps you explain the Republic.
Mm.
So doing all of that kind of really set us up into, like you said, the pyramid scheme. The pyramid scheme, funny enough, yeah, that's that it set up. It was very because it's quite a lot to understand. Because in the
Mm.
beginning, when you first open the page and you see all sectors and all of that stuff, I was thinking, okay, what's this? And then
Mm.
yeah, when you get into it, he does kind of go straight into it, so you can get understand what's going on. And then there was another bit that I like because we're still trying to understand Viz here because our introduction is right into Viz. There's no
Mm.
background into him. We're literally in the middle of him doing something. So we're trying to literally understand who the main character is and then understand the plot. So at first I was like, okay, who is Orkisko? It seems Orkisko needs Viz because he never attended the will ceremonies. Okay, and then I wasn't sure if Orkisko knew who Viz was. Is that why he was? Is he looking for Viz specifically? Because up until this
Mm.
point, we could tell Viz was running from something. We could tell Viz was someone and he was hiding, but we didn't
Mm-hmm.
know who he really was. We knew he was from the old royalty though, but we didn't know who he was and what that meant to anything. But I think Viz is immune to something because I was thinking that Okisko could he use Viz's immunity, and I didn't really entirely entrust Okisko obviously because he lied. I said it was supposed to
Yeah,
be
true.
so. So we hear more about seeding, like you said, in the column A, and there's a lot to really get your head around. And to be
Mm.
honest, I really to this day I don't really know what a column A is. To be
For real. For real. There's a lot of things he said in this book that I was just like, oh, okay.
yeah. So there is a lot, but it didn't feel like waffle. It felt like okay, this is gonna be important at some point.
Yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, like I feel like I might have to when I go to the second book, I might have to just read like if I see
A
something, I'll be like, let me
summary.
just yeah.
maybe listen to our podcast or something.
Exactly.
But straight off the bat, I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I love Viz. Normally you don't really like the main character like that, but I didn't think it was arrogant. He's not really saying I'm the smartest, I'm the baddest, I'm the
Mm,
toughest. He's
mm,
just like, all right, I've got to figure this out. I need to survive. I'm in survival
mm,
mode. Like,
mhm,
like you said, even when Okisko's like, oh, you can get the greatest rank, and he's like, I'm not really about all that. Like,
mm.
so yeah, he was kind of cocky, but not too much. It wasn't too much. So yeah, I was like, okay, I love Viz. And then
And
when the
also,
matron,
just to like get in there, of course he is cocky. He was a prince.
yeah,
Like, I
he's
think
from
people
old
forget,
royalty.
yeah,
Yeah,
like I know that he's gone through some shit and he's not been a prince for some time, but he was a prince, so it makes sense why there's
he should
some
have that.
instances where he
Yeah,
has that swagger,
air
I
about
guess.
him.
Mm.
Yeah.
But yeah,
So yeah,
you,
and I loved how he handled the matron because, like you said, she was stealing his money, so he
mm,
would hide it and do other things. And then I
hmm
can't remember what she tried to do, and he just told her off right in the beginning. He was like yeah, you tell her because I was like yeah, you tell her like he's not gonna play that victim. Oh, I'm an
mm,
orphan. I'm a victim role. I've had a hard life. He's like, no, literally, I'm in survival mode. Let's go.
mm,
So I was like, okay, let's do this. Like I was, his assessment of other characters is so entertaining without sounding narcissistic. I
mm,
thought,
mm.
it was literally just, I don't know, survival mode. I keep saying it. So yeah,
Yeah, it
I
is survival
thought,
mode.
like I said, because so much is going on, the major characters and the locations, in addition to the glossary, was very helpful.
Yeah.
Normally it's the map, and then you spend half the time thinking, when is this place on the map going to become relevant?
Yeah, yeah.
Sometimes
To
it
be
never
fair, I
does.
didn't actually look at the map. I looked at it the first time
Yeah,
because
the
it's at the
map
front of the
wasn't,
book,
yeah,
and I didn't look at it again. Yeah, that's true.
yeah. The map wasn't necessary. The other stuff at the back was definitely more necessary, especially with the phonetical pronunciations, because I
Mm,
was not guessing any of them right. And then, boom, you have the first one. Viz isn't Viz's real name, and this is going to be a
Diago.
trend. So I was like, oh, duh. And then, because when I was looking through the back, I saw that Diago and thing, and I was like, oh, I saw it in the glossary. Like, I saw in
Mm,
when the names thing, I was like, it explains his name, which is a spoiler. They should warn you of that. But maybe that's why it
that's
was at the
true,
back.
actually. That's actually very true. I didn't actually look at it until probably later when I was actually quite far back into the book that I'd looked at all the people's names. But yeah, you're right. It actually says this is Diago. I think it says
Mm.
this is other name or something.
And the reason why we thought the transvector was vertical is because it was a pyramid. It was
Mm,
written as a pyramid. It was described as a pyramid. And as you can see from the series, I don't know if Kim mentioned that, it's called the Hierarchy series, by the way.
hmm
So it's all a pyramid structure. So everything, there's like loads of pyramid symbolisms, there's loads of pyramid structure. And like Kim said, it was like a pyramid scheme
hmm
because it's like a MLM, like the bottom there's many at the bottom and only few at the top. So you can have each clan, let's say, can have a tortoise. It just means you are the head of your pyramids. So there
hmm
can be loads of pyramids. Only the senatorial pyramids can have a title like Magnus, and Okisko is a Magnus. So when he walked into the orphanage, it wasn't just the fact that he was a Quintus, it was he was a Magnus
mm,
Quintus. And
hmm
so that was and there's only three of them. So you can have loads of Toitus Quintus or Toitus Sectus, but you can only have one Magnus Toitus
hmm
Quintus or whatever. So yeah, he's one of one basically because you can only have one for military and one for governance and one for religion. So
mm.
it was kind of going down that trope. And I think this book does go down a lot of tropes like, oh, someone very high and mighty ends up choosing this down and out lucky person. And where did we
It's
go from
quite
here?
a
But
cliche line, isn't it?
yeah,
Mm.
but it's that's why when we were talking about this before, I was like, yeah, it does. He does go down tropes, but then he doesn't. Like it is cliche, but then it's either executed very well or
hmm
like it's different. He does a twist. So
mm.
I was like, okay. Um, we're getting into the usual trope of entering a competition because your life depends on it, and it's
Mm,
at a school. Because
that's what I thought.
I kept forgetting that Viz was 17 or 18, and like
Mm,
because he's very mature.
mm,
But I wasn't too mad at it. I just wasn't expecting that, so I was like, okay, because he Viz was very adamant about not using will. Like
mm,
Kim said, he's from the old world. He doesn't want to be part of this republic where they're into this new cool thing of using will so that you can do magic and all of this stuff. He doesn't care about none of that. He doesn't want to do anything with any of this weird stuff. He'll rather use his own strength, especially
mm,
being from old royalty. So the only place where he can go is because when Okisko went to the orphanage, he was interviewing, he was like drilling Viz. And so at the end, Viz starts asking him some questions about what's the benefits of me doing this thing that you want me to do. He asks him some questions, and he basically he's not giving off the fact that I'm trying any way possible not to use my will. So this is Viz's goal. He's gonna enter this agreement with Orkisko because he wants to be assigned. Because if you, sorry, I skipped a bit. If you become Domitor, you get to choose where you're assigned. So just by
yeah.
entering that academy, you get a good spot.
Mm,
If you become in class
become top
three, that
student, basically.
and become thank you, become the top student, prefect, valedictorian, then you can choose your assignment once you graduate. So it's probably impossible for someone like an orphan to do it because normally it's based off prestige and nepo babies and stuff. But he's going to take a punt at it so that he can get assigned to Jetian, where no one is allowed to use their will in this place.
Mm,
That's the only place in the Republic where you're not allowed to use your will. So that was, I thought, was the goal. And I was like, okay, let's see how this plays out. Obviously, there'll be some twists and turns, but yeah, let's see where this story is going. Little did we know. And then from Okisko's point of view, he's from military, and military are beefing with religion because in the beginning, when they were becoming the Republic, military was obviously the main ones because they needed the
mm-hmm,
military, and now
mm-hmm.
they don't. So it's like a little mini civil war, and then we now hear about this antagonist. So it's like, okay, we're doing a lot of setting the tone in part one, and to be honest, I was here for it. Like you said, we meet Sadosha, and then Sadosha then throws in a curveball with calling him Diago and knowing who he is, and
Mm,
saying only 3 people know who he is. To
mm.
this day, who is the third person, Kim?
Well,
I think
uh,
I know who he is.
yeah, I think I know who it is as well, but we can
Who do you
discuss
think
that
it is?
at the end. No, we can't say it now.
They wouldn't understand because we're at the
I
beginning.
think it's Cyril.
Oh, you think she knows who Zero is?
Yeah, I think Cyril knows who Diago slash Viz is
Why would he know them? They never cross paths.
because there's something else going on in the background.
I think it's Okisko. I think Okisko knows a lot more than he pretends to know.
Nah, I don't think he knows because he keeps asking. Do you know what? We're going too far. We're going too far. We're going
Sorry,
too far.
yeah.
Yeah, we're going
Okay,
too far. We're
okay.
going too far.
So, so then we're introduced to
Yeah.
yeah, so we thought that's the first point where it's like, okay, this isn't a normal trope because what's going on here? There was too many little things where I'm just like, okay, Viridius is supposed to be the antagonist, but she's giving me a little bit of sign here. And, and it's like
Because
there's
I
too
was
many
looking at Sadosha
angles.
to be the person that was going to save him. Like, no, come with
Mm,
us. Viz, we'll help you. But no, 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 no.
mm. Like, no, you're going down the wrong path. This isn't what you
Yeah.
want.
Nah, 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 nah. She ain't about that life. She
And
ain't about
then
that life.
we also learn that about birthright. So you can't kill. That is the main thing with this. Yeah, you have this power and this hierarchy system. But the main thing with Zero dying is that it has to be an accident, and Okisko doesn't think it's an accident. So if he was killed, then that's actually a serious thing. So the concept of birthright we learn is not really taken seriously by anyone. And I don't really know
For real.
how it's supposed to be enforced because nothing happens.
For real. That's why, like, you're talking about birthright. That's why I didn't talk about it because I didn't really get it. I was just like, okay. Somebody says it a couple of times, and I'm just like, but nobody seems to really take this serious.
Yeah. And what did you think about him staying with when he has that option? I know you said he had the choice to run away, but
Mm,
what did you think? I liked that he was loyal and he stayed with Orkisco because you've already made you willingly walked into this deal with Orkisco. If
mm.
you were to chicken out, because I by this point he had got a feeling that okay, something I'm not
Something's
sure.
not right.
Yeah, I'm not walking into a good deal here, but I don't really have a choice.
Mm, hmm hmm
So at this point, he wasn't really too pally pally with Orkisco, which I think he tries to get there, and then Orkisco had to
He,
settle.
oh, he tries, he tries.
So at this point, what did you think about him not going with Sadosha?
I I thought I understood where he's coming from because he explained
Mm.
that Sado is it so no wait
Yeah,
you
I've been
I feel like
remixing it every
I
time.
was
I've
gonna
been
say I
saying
feel
it
like you've been
something
saying
different
her name
every
wrong.
time.
I'm pretty sure I had
Whatever comes out of my mouth is how it's coming.
but yeah so I think yeah to be fair it's actually Sadochio. So I think he's actually a bit like you guys are mad because when we said remember I said about the arrow and Lola's actually explained that Okisko is a Magnus Quintus so he's like the Quintus of the Quintus
Mm.
and this arrow that I'm pretty sure she was the one that shot this arrow because it just comes out of
Yeah,
the bushes that shouldn't have hurt Okisko like it hurt him. So actually, Viz knows about the way the Anguis move as well. So he's like,
'cause- and
"You're
even
not even somebody I want to side with."
it was a poisoned arrow, but knowing what
Mm,
you know now, he was still puzzled by how she
mm,
was able to use it on him. But
mm.
knowing what you know now,
Yeah,
it makes
bloody,
sense.
bloody Sedocia. But yeah, so I understand because to me, he was between a rock and a hard place. That's why I keep saying poor Viz because he's got Okisko who's telling him. And to be fair, at this point, Okisko's way where he could be in an academy, he just needs to look at some ruins he's probably like, this seems a bit easier than for now, anyways, guys, when he finds out what he really has to do. But this to me seems a bit easier than Sadocia's, join the
Fight the
resistance group,
Republic, yeah.
killing people, just attacking people anyhow. So that's why I was a bit like, okay, I can see. And also, remember, he lost his job in the fighting ring. So he's
Yeah,
lost that
he
job.
can't go back
He can't go
because
back
they think
there.
he cheated. Yeah.
And also, if he now leaves Okisko, he can't go back to his prison job either because Okisko knows where he worked in the prison and also where the orphanage. So he can't go back there. So he'll basically just be on the run. So
Mm.
that's why I was a bit like, in the beginning, I was a bit like, oh, you should just run away. But I did understand why. It made
Mm.
sense for him
Yeah.
to stay. The good guy. Alrighty, so Viz wakes up in an infirmary at the academy where we meet Indo, Amisa, and Belly, who are kids at this academy, and they're wondering like what the hell happened to Viz. So they try to ask him questions, and Amisa offers him some water. Full stop. But before they could probe too much, a doctor comes in and checks how Viz is doing and tries to ask him some questions again about what happened, but Viz isn't giving up much. And the reason why they're asking him so many questions is because Kisko also came to the Academy mashup. And when you just like, he's a Quintus, like I said, a Magnus Quintus. He shouldn't be mashed up like this. So they're asking him what happened. Viz isn't really giving up much because he knows to keep things tight to his chest. And Okisko's been repaired. I think he's healed. I think he gets healed or heals himself. And he walks in with Viridius. So Lola told you about Viridius before. He's the principalist slash head teacher, slash principal. And Viridius tries to talk to Viz, but Okisko explains that they have to go to Catenan. This is where Okisko lives and Viridius leaves. He's a bit annoyed, but he has to leave with the doctor. At this point, Okisko starts to pepper him with questions.
So
Wait, Lola's got a correction. Oh, what?
uh so when he woke up,
Mm-hmm.
someone was attending to him and
Mm-hmm.
asking him questions. The thing happened with the water, and he passed out and he woke up again. And then
Okay.
yeah, and then so that's why the water full stop. And then he
Mm,
passed out and he woke up
yep.
again, and the doctor was
Yep.
attending to him, and they start asking questions.
Mm-hmm.
And then Okisko comes in and says, Viridius, nice to meet you. And then or whatever he says. And Thingy's like, what? So when actually what the doctor is saying to him at the time, before we know it's Viridius, he's actually saying, because Thingy's worried, which he shoots himself because he knows not to drop that facade, but he's worried like, oh,
Mm,
what how does that look? Like Kim says, how can a Magnus Quintus be mashup?
mm,
Um, so he's worried like what he thinks he's just trying to feel out from this lowly doctor in this school. What's the vibe? What people saying? And the doctor's like, oh, so you're some kind of hero. How
mm,
do you save a Magnus Quintus? But at the same time, he could tell he's fishing. So
mm.
he keeps stum. And then Okisko comes in and says Viridius, being like just to say, hey, that's Viridius, mind who you're talking to. And he can,
Ah, yes. When you say it like that, yeah,
yeah,
because I was a bit like, when you like trying to remember back, I was like, hold on, how did that happen? Because we know
yeah,
that Oki's don't like Meridius, so
yeah.
they couldn't have just come in together. Yeah, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, and Viridius was trying to trick him because that was the whole thing with the water to get
Mm,
him to be loose with the lips.
mm. See, this is why you talk about this book with multiple people. Because I forgot about that. Yes. So go back. So now, Okisko. So now that everybody's left the room, Okisko starts to pepper over questions about what happened. What were they asking you? Like, what happened on the Transvex? Like, how did we get here? Kind of thing. And Viz explained what happened after Okisko got shot, but obviously didn't tell him about the Anguis or Sedocia. He basically just tells him the bare minimum. And this is where, at this point, we also learn a bit more about the rationale behind sending Viz to the academy, as he starts to talk about his younger brother, Cyril, who died there during the Judicium, which is a final test at the end of the year, where the top students are basically fighting out to become the top student. So Oki's score does, at this point, give Viz an out. He does tell him, look, it's going to be dangerous. You can leave if you want to leave because I think he basically says like, "Are you ready to offer up your life?" And Viz is like, "Yeah, I'm ready to offer up my life." He's like, "No, but I need you to say it." That's what he says to him there. But Viz still takes up the offer.
Oh, I didn't remember that. That's nice
Mm.
that he gave him out. Yeah.
Yeah, because I was trying to think. I was like, I know Orkis was. I don't like him, but I'm pretty sure there was a point where he does give him now, and I did read through. And I was like, yes, he actually says he's like, I need you to say it, Viz. And I was like, ah, yeah, and he says he's like, yeah, I will offer up my life to do this or whatever.
Mm.
So we get to Caten and to Olkiskor's house where we meet Lanastia, who's a sextus that works for Olkiskor. Lanastia is aware of the plans for Viz. She's not too happy about the choice of Viz. I don't know if it's because, he's an orphan or whatever the reason is, but she's not happy at this point. Or the fact that Olkiskor hasn't actually told his wife, Relikia, that he has adopted a 17-year-old kid. Because if you think about it, it is odd for you've got this almost grown kid that he's has been adopted to go to the academy.
In
So,
hindsight, I
mm.
think she was upset because it was like this is too much hard work.
Do you think so?
Like because everyone was like, why did you pick this guy? Like, and obviously only Okisko knows this because he hasn't seeded.
Okay, fair. But they
And
could
I
have been
think it's because
harder work.
Okisko knows who he is.
I don't
Because
think.
remember he was like, "Don't worry, we'll talk." And then after they spoke, then she softens. But because remember they know it, they we find out that they Lannister and Okisko actually are a nice partnership, and he shares everything with her. He
Mm,
even says to Viz to treat Lannister like he's coming out of Okisko's mouth.
well, good enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Okisko says that Reliquia travels often and will be fine with Fizz being here. So last year, she's a bit like, this is weird, this is strange. But like Lola says, they do have a conversation and she kind of comes around to it.
And also, it
Lannister,
wasn't that weird. Remember, it wasn't that weird because he was like, "This kind of thing happens all the time to try and gain favor." But they would just think that there must be something special about Viz that
or
Okisco
that
knows.
and to be fair, somebody does say later on that it's also quite dodgy. I think even Viz clocks on. He's just like, this is weird. Like you have this issue with the school, which we'll talk about later. So to me, I also think Lannister is a bit like, are you sure this is a good idea?
Yeah, it's a bit.
Because it's too obvious.
Yeah,
That's what I thought when Lannister was a bit
yeah,
like, annoyed about the situation.
It's too direct, yeah.
Yeah. So Lannister will be Viz's tutor till he attends the academy. So I think they've like got a few months for her to basically whip him into shape. And we also meet Cadmus, who's the housekeeper, butler. I can't remember what the phrase is. And he obviously doesn't trust Viz and makes it clear to him because he
Guy was
imbues
so shady.
makes it clear to him that the door for his room has been will imbued, so will alert him if Viz tries to leave without permission. I was like, what? You've been looking in the room. This.
This guy was so passive aggressive.
But he warms up to Viz at some point. So good old Viz does what anyone else would and heads out the window to go spy on.
He's like, it's not locked.
He's like, you imbued my door, but not my window. So he goes to spy on old Keyscore and Lannister, and he hears them talking about how some high-ranking people have been assassinated by the Anguis. Lannister questions why Viz could even be a spy, and Okisco explains it to her, and we also find out that the Senate are routinely testing blood. So at this point, Cadmus finds Viz hanging around outside listening and sends Viz back to his room. So, all right, now is the training arc time. You always have a training arc. So we find out that Lannister is blind, and she doesn't. It's not even like blind as in she can't see out of her eyeballs. She doesn't actually have eyeballs. And she tells Viz during training that the academy took her eyes, and she uses will. She imbues will to the air around her to help her see. I was like, "Rah, okay,
Like
this
a
is
bat.
wild." Yes, yeah, like
Or,
echolation.
yeah,
That's
echolocation.
yeah, that's
Or,
dolphin.
like if you've read Project Hail Mary, like that little the other thing from Project Hail Mary. Sorry to those who have read that book. Sorry, I don't want to spoil it, but that thing, the way
Okay,
he sees sounds
okay,
in
okay.
that planet, the alien sees sounds. I can't remember his name now, which is because I actually really love that thing.
Just that thing.
Yeah.
So,
So because it's all waves in it. So I thought that concept was really cool. So instead of
mm,
we see the light waves, they see the sound waves. Anyway.
okay.
Whenever I try to talk science with my sister,
It's too much. Just goes too far. It's always physics and stuff that it's too much. All right,
oh,
so
mathematician.
in one of their training sessions, Lannister takes Viz to a special training room which contains a replica labyrinth, and it's actually illegal to have a replica of this. And this labyrinth will be at the academy for students to train. I
No,
can't remember
put
the
a pin
rationale
in
behind
this.
why it was illegal.
Well, because you'll be cheating. You'll have an unfair advantage. Only the rich people,
True,
because it's
but then
expensive.
everybody
Only,
could do it.
and then also, what is the concept of this thing? I think that's the main reason
Mm,
why it's illegal. It's like how
mm.
you keep yeah, certain things that you don't want to abuse. But
You don't want
actually,
everybody knowing, yeah.
the main thing is the fact that that thing is illegal and he's risked it all. How did he know that this thing was so important? We will talk about this at the end because this is an important thing, I think. Because why would you build this just for your brother? Why would you think that's the key to finding your brother?
Because he wants to trial it to get to the end. He needs somebody to try to
Wait,
practice the
he
labyrinth to
doesn't
get to
need to
the
be
end.
good at it. He could just get to the labyrinth. He doesn't need to be good at it.
He needs to get to the end of the labyrinth.
He needs to get. Does he? Doesn't he
Yeah,
just?
yeah, yeah.
Well,
That's what
why
he
does he
tells
think?
him when he tells him about himself. That's what he tells him. He's like, because my guy's excited. Remember, because he was excited that he found the labyrinth.
And how does
And
he
then
know
my
that he
guy
needs to
was
get
just
to
like,
the
you need to
end
get to the
then?
end of the labyrinth
Well, how does he know that he needs to get to the end then?
because of Seabraw.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, how would Zero? He know. I'm telling you, Keyscore knows more. I can't wait to start this. Kim wouldn't let me start the second book.
She's not
I
allowed. She's
can't
not
wait
allowed.
to start the second book.
Not allowed. Not at least not until we finish recording this. All
Yeah.
right. So, yeah. So he gets trained in the labyrinth, the replica labyrinth. And like Lola says, this is, this cheating because he's going to figure out how to get to the end of the labyrinth. So Lannis, I call her Lanny in my notes. Lannistia shows how to get through the labyrinth. I was like, Lanny, I'm very comfortable with her. And Anastasia concentrates on physical training, whilst Cadmos, you remember our housekeeper, he does the education side. And this is where Cadmus starts to, be a bit nicer to this. Is it, or is it later on? Pretty
Because
sure
he
is it.
knows more than he should.
Yeah, because he clocks on. He's
For
like,
an
oh, you're so
orphan
smart.
in the
Yeah.
lowest scrum, why do you know he shouldn't know he has, and remember he has royal, like
Mm,
the old royalty, like how they had to know who's who and what's what. He has that
mm,
kind of knowledge. So a lot of the stuff was very, and even for the physical training, a lot of that stuff, because he used to get trained to fight as well, was easy
mm,
to him in the beginning, and then once, because they were treating him like he was a poor person in the village, innit? But
true.
once they realize, hold on, I can give him a little, he's got some kind of basics somehow, then yeah, he was out of his depth.
After a few weeks, the governor senator. So remember, we have the three pyramids. You had religion, military, and governance. So the governance, one of the governance senators arrives to meet the boy that was adopted by Orkisco, and we get a bit more about Orkisco and Viridius's relationship. As apparently, Orkisco, according to this senator, Orkisco unjustly blames Viridius for Cyril's death, even though everyone knows he took his own life. So at this
So
point, Viz is a bit worried about what O'Keefe really wants from him at the academy because he's like we said earlier. At this point, he's just like, okay, so this is too obvious, bro. Why are you sending me there when we know that you're basically on this mission to find out what happened to your brother? It's too obvious. You were gonna say something?
literally so
Oh,
this
okay.
was the point where we're like, okay, everyone knows that this guy's on a mad one, and this was the
Mm,
point where I was like, okay, so this isn't military behind this.
at
This is this
all.
guy, this one guy's agenda.
At all. He's just doing this on his own. That's why he's got this illegal labyrinth in his house. So the senator asked Viz to train with his daughter Equa during the break before school starts. And this is probably just to plant someone by his side to get as much information from it. Because I was a bit like, why does he need to do that? But it's obvious. He wants to find out more about what he scores up to. So Viz accepts by requesting that they meet at the festival for her to show him around. He was basically using this situation to be able to get out there to meet our dear Seducia. When the senator leaves, Lannister queries what they talked about and warns Viz not to trust the senator because he blames Orkisco for some political issues. So she's looking at it as like, don't listen to him. He hates Orkisco, so don't listen to what he's saying. But Viz is like, look, what is going on here? You guys are sending me some wild goose chase about Seabraw. I need answers. And this is when Lannister insists that Viridius killed Seabraw, but she doesn't really explain. We do find out that Lannister was friends with Seabraw, and but at this point, you don't really know what else happened here. Lannister isn't happy about that whole Equa and Viz meeting up because obviously it's why do you need that connection with governance? And Viz is thinking about this whole connection with Searaw. And like I said, he feels it's too obvious. And he's obviously now this adopted son that's going into school where he died. And again, I wrote in my notes, poor Viz. Okay. Any, Anywho, moving on. So Viz meets up with Ikar, who is in class 4. So we'll get to this a bit later about all the classes. And they head to the festival. So he pretends to be a bit naive, interested in the sights, like a naive orphan that doesn't know what's going on. So at this point, she's just tolerating him and trying to measure up to see like what he's really about. Equa tells Viz a bit more about Searaw's death, highlighting what Viz was worried about. So she says that there was an accident in the Eutychium where Searaw thought he killed someone, then killed himself out of guilt, and because he didn't want to go to the Sapper. So apparently Viridius was his friend and saw it happen. Viz is like, crying out loud, this is getting crazy. And at this point, this is when he's just like, look, I don't think the military's backing this. Oh, Key scores on this mission on his own. We arrive at the festival, and again, I think one thing I must say about this guy's book is that I don't think he's actually that good at describing things, or maybe I'm not that good at visualizing what he's describing because I kept trying to understand what this was. And I was just like, huh? So we arrive at a festival where there's an arena filled with water. It's the Naumachia, and prisoners are trying to fight to not be sent to the Sapper. I think they're on boats or are they on like planks?
Yeah. So the way from my memory, I saw this as was like they're in a Colosseum kind of thing, right?
Mm,
And in the middle of the Colosseum, there's like a middle stage, and it's like a circle with like lines coming out.
Okay.
Like little like or like a
I
sun
get
with
the
like
visual, yeah.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. The song with the rays, yeah.
Yeah. So it's like that. And then water, yeah, there is water.
Yeah, yeah.
Because when the thing happens, he had to get to the middle. That's all I
Mm,
knew. So I think there's like little stages and then there was like a center
mm,
stage.
yeah. I,
That's how I was visualizing it anyway.
mm. But you get what I mean about the way he explains. I'm like, I've to be,
Because
or maybe it's just I've read more books that are a bit more descriptive, or maybe it was hard to describe. I don't know. I just felt that was a bit lacking for me. That was a bit lacking.
I
But yeah,
think
so
what I don't think I found that bit. I don't think I found the ceremony bit strange.
mm,
I think I found the next bit strange. I
that
don't think
how,
that was well described.
yeah. Even to be fair, even in the labyrinth as well, that whole thing was chaos. But
Yeah,
we'll get
I think until we got to the real labyrinth, I wasn't really
mm,
understanding,
what he was doing.
yeah, like
Mm,
with the arm thing and stuff. I wasn't really understanding with like, yeah, with the brace, yeah.
still don't get it. Still don't get it. Like I
And
feel like
putting the gems and I started
this
to
was
get
made
it
for
like,
movie.
yeah, it was. I
This is
think
made for a movie.
yeah.
This is graphic. We need to have
And he was
visuals.
like, you will consult me. You will ask
In
me
it,
what I
you need to
thought.
ask me what this is about. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, we arrive at the festival and we're in there's the arena filled with water, it's the Naumachia, and prisoners are trying to fight to not be sent to the Sapper. So Viz uses this as his chance to get away. So he's able to slip away, saying he wants to go to the toilet, and this is where Sedocia finds him and takes him away to meet somebody called Melior. Melior's a leader of the Anguis, and we find out that this guy is because everybody seems to have multiple names. He turns out to be somebody called Esteban, who was one of Viz's dad's most trusted advisors. So Esteban slash Melior tries again to recruit him, but Viz again says, nah, because you guys are still part of the Anguis and you guys are crazy. So Esteban actually highlights the attack on Seuss. He says that the Republic were looking for something that Seuss possessed, but Viz still declines. And I think he even says to him about something about he says something to him about like basically inactivity is also a form of
Cowardice.
something.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
something like that.
And
Yeah.
I was just like, yeah, this it's true. I do get it. I do get what you're
And I think
saying.
this is what prompts him to do something later on. This kind of
Mm,
this
mm.
thought, yeah.
So Viz continues to decline. Esteban's like, you know what? Fine, it is what it is. I'll let you go. So Viz is about to go. He turns back to warn Viz to say, like, oh, by the way, I heard Okisco talking about it because you remember when he climbed out the window to shade Cadmus, he'd heard Esteban's name. So he heads back with Sedocia, who says, hey, before we go any further, I need some of your blood. So she cuts him, puts a stylus against his chest where the blood is for protection. This is another thing where I was just like, what? And Viz touches the stylus and he feels a tingling.
So
Yeah?
this is with the arrow.
Yes. Then he heads back to Iqua, who's like side-eyeing him because she's like, where did you go? You've been gone for ages. But at this point, she gets distracted by the arena because chaos starts. A voice declares about the corrupt government. Esteban arises from the water and offers freedom to the prisoners if they leave. Some do, but some attack him because this is Melior. He's somebody that's wanted, and they attack him in the hope that the government will give them leniency. So
So
there's
you
explosion. Sorry.
so picture because yeah, you rushed that bit. It was kind of like picture this is what I was picturing. Obviously, because it's not it was Roman times, so they're killing each other, fighting to death and all that. But
Mm,
if it was like in the modern day times, it would be like a Premier League final or like a North London derby, a football match, right? And then like in the middle of that, not or just even a concert. Let's do a concert. And then in the middle of the concert, it has to be someone hated comes up, like Trump or someone,
mm,
and just starts setting off bombs and starts
mm,
causing chaos in the middle of the thing. It's
mm,
like, and he's like, you could uh you could leave if you want to. You wouldn't trust it, would you? You would think, nah, if I run outside, something mad's gonna happen. So I could understand
Mm,
that. I did think that bit was well done because the way he described the panic, the chaos, and
mm,
how the crowd crushed, I was literally picturing, because unfortunately we've seen so many of these situations at concerts recently where
mm,
attacks have happened at that. But I was picturing that kind of scenario
mm.
where an attack, because it was
There's
literally like he
absolute
just
chaos.
boom, magic. He appeared in the middle, and then he started doing this weird sonic thing, and every 60 seconds a ripple
Mm.
would kill people. But
Yeah,
like, it
yeah, he
was,
was killing
that
people.
bit was the bit that wasn't very clear. It was like
Mm.
every 60 seconds it was just mass extinction, but and then he was kind of
Yeah,
acting like
because
he was
when
possessed.
people were talking
And
about so many people died, I was like, huh?
mm,
How did they die? And like then it wasn't until I read it again, I was like, oh, because he was doing this weird, like,
yeah.
this sonic sound thing that was killing people. And I was like, oh yeah, people were dying. He's like,
Yeah,
oh,
that,
okay.
so it was like a big, like, what's it called? It was supposed to kill a large amount
Yeah, it
of,
was a
they wanted to
terrorist
make a,
attack.
yeah,
Mm,
yeah,
it was
it was a
terrorism.
terrorist attack. So yeah, just picture that in the middle of a nice, even though it's not nice, but to the
Yeah.
people there, so
They
everyone
were
but
going
Viz
for
found the thing
entertainment.
barbaric. Actually, even Equa
Equa.
said it is barbaric. Yeah,
Mm.
she did,
But
but
she
she was like,
also
but you get
said
into
that,
it.
yeah, Viz grabs. So, yeah, so like we were saying, it's chaos. It is chaos down here, Tom. Viz grabs Equa and leads her to the sewers to get away. He's basically leading her back the way he came. And he clocks that he's being protected. And he's like, look, I need to get back to Esteban. Maybe I can stop all of this madness. So he gets to Esteban. He's trying to stop him. He holds a dagger to Esteban's throat, begging him to stop, but he won't. Then Esteban grips Viz's hand and kills himself.
Sorry. Also, the fact that he even was able to get to Esteban was weird,
Yeah, yeah.
because and
Which
he
Equa
wasn't
says at some
sure.
point.
Yeah, and that's, so she, there was so many things weird with that situation. So,
Mm,
and she was, at first she was acting like she didn't clock nothing, like she was just so happy to get through. But then she'll
but she
do the Columbo
starts
thing, like, just
starts
one more
side-eyeing him.
question. How did
Mm,
you know where the toilet was? You said you've never been
mm,
there.
mm. And then she won't push it too far, but she's keeping it. She's
Yeah.
like, okay, your answer didn't make sense, but I'll take that for now. So this happens. Esteban kills himself. Viz wakes up back at Olkisco's house. He finds out that he's being hailed as a hero. I think Olkisco says to him, "Is just like, oh, like people hailing you as a hero. They call you Catenicus because he saved loads of people." I remember being at this point, I was like, who did he save? Like, rah, like, didn't he just swim out of the water? Because I didn't get this visual, but Lola's explained it and now we
So
all understand.
yeah,
So,
because you've literally skipped quite a bit. So this was the bit where I was like, I had to slow down because I was like,
mhm.
what is going on? So when he, number one, he shouldn't have got close. When he gets close, so this comes up at the very end, all right? So when he, or does it come up at the very end? Or someone asks him, did you see X, Y, and Z? Remember? So when he gets there, when he touches him or gets into this force field, he keeps going in between realities. Do you remember this bit?
No, not realities. I know that he had this weird sensation, but at this point, I think it's because you've read the end. You're now
Yeah,
explaining things.
obviously.
Hmm
I'm now making sense of it because I'm
Mm,
using the word realities. But okay, so at the time I was like, okay, I thought he was just going to, because there's a lot of magic. I thought he was just
mm,
going to a magic place. He was
mm,
going to this place where this guy's summoning this dark power from. Because the power that this guy's using, no one can understand it. No one's ever seen it before. So when he kills him, he goes all the way to this place. He sees a bunch of things. He finds out some information that scares him. He doesn't want to think.
Something happened. You froze.
Okay, I don't know what's happening. So hopefully this is in one piece. But yeah.
For real. It's gonna
So
get to it
yeah.
and it's just gonna be like jump into the next bit.
So if we've jumped, the main thing is when he killed the guy, he realized that there was a sensation in the dagger and there was something wrong with the dagger, and that was the only reason why
Mm,
he was able to get close. And he remembered the blood that he had put on the dagger. Well, that he had given to Satoshi, who put that on the dagger, and then also remember that arrow that hit Magnus Quintus that shouldn't have been able to. Hints,
hmm
hints. So there's that, and then also he tries to hide it by breaking it apart and hiding it within that thing. We don't know if it gets found or not. But yeah, so yeah, there was a bit. So that bit does come back at the end, but at the time it's quite hard to understand. You do know it's gonna come
Mm,
back. You feel like okay, he's gonna have to go back to that world now, or something's
mm.
gonna happen. But it was very confusing.
Yeah.
Besides the fact that a lot of people were dying, and you could tell the terror and the fear. I thought that was very.
It's
As this is all happening, because there's this like ripple. It's basically like sonic bombs. Just picture it like that. Sonic bombs. The place is collapsing, right?
mhm,
And it's also there was a lot of water. The water starts flooding. So to
mm,
get out of that place, because when Sadosha took him to meet Melior, they went down some sewers and down some alleyways. If water, if if the water is in the stadium, he knows okay, it can't be in those sewers. So he
mm.
takes Equa,
Equal
and
there.
that's how they escape. But sadly, a bunch of people died because they got crushed and they couldn't
Mm,
get out and they got flooded. So Equal was very like, how the hell you didn't know where the toilet was, you didn't know anything. How did you know how to get us out there so quickly in that kind of
mm,
a situation in a
mm.
split?
With
You
no
could have
confusion.
like, yeah, they were just about to die, and he just quick, let's go. I know where to go. And then
Mm,
he was like, oh, I went past that way on the way to the toilet. And she was like, that was nowhere near the toilets.
mm.
So yeah.
Going back to the fact that he's woken up and being called the Catenicus, we finally hear from Olkiskel about what happened with his brother from Olkiskel's point of view, and that he didn't believe the story because before the Eutychium, Olkiskel received a letter with a hidden message talking about translations, pre-cataclysm powers, and a gate. And it also said Obitium lost, Lucium unknown, and only very Viridius knows. I'm just like very like that it's Viridius knows. So this is why Okiscore doesn't trust Viridius. And the only other witness, Lanastia, who was there when it all happened, she can't actually remember anything. So you've got this situation where Okiscore's going, he's like, I'm gonna find the answers no matter what. In between the time before heading to the academy, another doctor comes to see Viz and takes his blood. Because remember, we were talking about the fact that we've got people that are going around taking senators' bloods. He comes to take his blood and asks him a bunch of questions. Viz then asks Cadmus afterwards about the whole blood thing. He's like, why is he taking my blood? Like, should we not be concerned about this? Why did we just allow this random guy to come up here and take my blood? Because also, another thing to bear in mind is Okisco had left at that point. So it was like, why are we just allowing a random guy to come into this man's house and take his kid's blood? And Cadmus just says, look, don't worry about it. It's not anything of concern, which I thought was weird because
It's so weird. Does that come back up? I don't think that ever
it
did.
doesn't come back up. And I don't know if it's going to come back in the second book because
Hmm.
even the whole blood taking thing, it
Mm.
doesn't come up.
It doesn't get explained.
Yeah. And we've,
Like, I'm
so
just guessing. I'm putting two and two together. Yeah.
yeah, it's, so yeah. But yeah. So anywho, Viz continues to train, and Lannister says that he needs to get to at least class 3 to do any real investigation, aka this is how we get shit done. And then we head to the academy, and that is the end of part 1. Woo woo! Thoughts,
So far, no
thoughts and outro.
character was annoying.
Yep, I
Um,
agree.
Viridius was not what I expected, because
Mm.
obviously, especially how we met him. So yeah, he wasn't what I expected.
I think he's a complicated character.
He moves the story along at a great pace,
Mm.
because
Mm.
Viridius was not messing about.
He's like, I
So
want to know
like,
answers. I want to know the answers to
yeah.
how this happened. Mm.
But yeah, and then there was a quote about a pyramid's strength is in its foundation, not its peak.
Mm.
Hint, hint. So it was just like there was loads of like hints about pyramids and stuff throughout the thing, which I thought was
Mm.
nice. And obviously it's set in the Roman times, but I do think it can still be a talk on today and how things
Yeah,
operate in today's time. So I thought that was
because it's
quite
very
interesting.
dystopian, isn't it? It follows a very dystopian. Actually, not even
Mm.
very just. Well, yeah,
It's
because
not, yeah, it's
we're
just
we're
exaggerated,
seeding
but it's
world,
not
isn't it?
too
Yeah.
bad.
Mm.
Yeah. Like literally, just literally, you want to do something else, but you're doing all these things to tick boxes, isn't it? Literally, your will.
Mm.
And then I thought Esteban or Melior, should we say, basically just sacrificed himself. As they said, they have some grand design. The what's the Angius have a grand design. So it looks like they want to crown Diago the new leader of the new world. So they're trying to remove the Republic and um start a new world. But Diago's like, okay, you're just taking one head off a snake and replacing it with another. I'm not really down with that plan. Which I thought he's not just jumping into normally, in these kind of trips, they pick a side. He's kind of like, wait, no, let me ride out. Let me write out the story and let's see where it goes. So there's so many angles to this thing. So I thought that was quite interesting. But and then so they set so this is what we're thinking. So now they're trying to set Diago up to be a god because Esteban's basically when Viz or Diago actually goes to him to kill him, he at the last minute when he goes to kill him, he panics last minute and Esteban actually has to grab his hand and kill him. But unless you were right there, which obviously you couldn't be because of this sonic boom and you can't actually get too close. Like, also, sorry, when he walked close to him, he broke a barrier field and things looked different and he couldn't hear the chaos kind of thing. So I don't think people couldn't see basically that he didn't kill him, that Esteban killed himself, basically. So he also felt that guilt that hold on, I shouldn't be this hero that everyone thinks I am because I actually panicked last minute and like I was a coward again, kind of thing. So I thought, yeah, okay, so they're still trying to force his hands. They're still trying to make him be the leader of the Angius.
To
That's
be
what I
fair,
thought was
they've tried to
happening.
force his hand throughout the book, actually. They forced this poor boy's hand. But yeah,
So yeah,
we'll talk about that later.
but I thought the tension was built up very well. I was even
Yeah.
anxious for him.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then even just to finally go out and do this, get to the academy, I'm like, damn, now we have to go find out what religion's
For
doing.
real. That's what I'm saying. You know, you just like we've got a lot going on outside the academy. Like maybe and then you've got the danger inside the academy. Like he's going through it. Poor Viz, man. That's the phrase for this book. Poor Viz. All right. So that is this is episode 7. So 7A, 7B, I don't know, 7A. So part 1 is finished. So we will get into part 2 in the next episode. So make sure you stay tuned. But yes, so guys, we need you to like, share, subscribe, follow, do all the good things. And if you don't, what's going to happen, Lola? Is going to toss you.
I'm not gonna do anything. Kim will cuss.
All right, toodles, guys. Bye.
Bye.